Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Cardinal Scoreboard Show. This is Trey Graham along with Cardinals head football coach Matt Nally coming to you for another week of insights into Cardinals football you will find nowhere else. Coach Nally, welcome back to the program.
Yes, sir. Thank you for letting me be here.
Good to visit with you. We got a couple of your players coming later in the program, our players of the game, coming out of the big win over Frisco Memorial. 69-0 was the final score. 59-0 at half, and I think I'm going to ask some of the players later, but I'll ask you, fun to play those blowout games, or would you rather have the 35-34 kind of game, or even the 7-0 kind of game?
I guess it's. Obviously those are pretty entertaining because you get to see all the kids play. You get to see all of the phases of the game. A lot. So, it's a great question. I'd have to think about it and get back with you.
We assumed there would be a running clock at some point in time. Mm-hmm. When did that conversation happen between you and Coach Jackson?
We discussed it at halftime, right before the second quarter ended. We discussed it, and I was very open and honest from the get-go. We had missed a game. I needed my starters to play as much as possible, and I did not want to, make or embarrass anybody or anything like that and whatnot. But I was very open and honest about my kids have to play. So, and I was going to play them through the third regardless of what the score was and whatnot. And so, to make a long story short, it was that. It was right before halftime. The official came up to me and we had a discussion. And then in those situations, you just you go through a middleman.
Yes.
So, but that happened right before halftime.
So the score was 69-0, final score 59-0 at half, and I think it's quite understandable when you say you wanted your starters to get more playing time than you would have normally in a blowout situation because you missed a game.
Right.
And you can understand from where I sit, my job's to kind of try to make it interesting in the second half, and not a lot of what was going on the field was so interesting. So, of course, had to keep the suspense alive about the all-time record for points scored in a game, which we've talked about because you scored it last year to tie the record, 75 points.
Okay, yes, sir.
In the game. And I was wondering, and the millions who were watching were wondering the whole night, were you going to break the school record? And you never thought about it.
It never crossed my mind. It never crossed my mind. What we're going to do is, once again, I don't want to embarrass anybody, but at the end of the day, we're going to run our offense. It doesn't matter who's in there. I'm not going to tell a kid to fair catch it. Kids, the only way we're going to get better is to do what we do. So I'm not going to, I'm not going to put walls or barriers around our players. But at the same point in time, I've been on the other side of the coin in those situations where you just want to, crawl into a ball. And, I don't know if you remember, but it might have been 11 years ago. We went to Gilmer, Texas, and, it's not fun to be a part of those. So you don't want to do that. In coaches, it is a fraternity, and it's so tight, and you don't want to embarrass another fellow colleague. But at the end of the day, we all understand that it is our job to score points and stop you from scoring.
And they do have to tackle you, right?
Right. Yeah. So there's that aspect as well. You always go into a game like that when the game is over, and you always think, could I have done this or could I have done that? And it goes away very quickly because you do have the understanding of it is our job to score. It is our job to stop us from scoring. It is our job to stop you from scoring. Like, our big thing on Friday night, our rallying cry was, we're going to shut them out, and good. Like, that's what I want it to be. And then Friday night, we've already had a team meeting this morning, and it was to shut them out again. So, I'm not going to – you can't apologize for those things. And once again, I think every coach understands that it is your job to to stop and your job to score. I remember when I was a young coach, um, way back in 23 years ago, we were playing a team when I was in Cayuga, Texas, and they were beating us pretty good. Now, back in those days, beating you pretty good was like 35-0. You know what I'm saying? So,
Because you would huddle
yes,
and let the clock
yes.
run. Yes.
And I remember they threw a little, we call them fast screens, threw a little fast screen out there, and I remember screaming across the way, you're trying to run the score up, and they did. They scored. It was 42-0 or something like that, and nothing like in today's world. But my AD, head football coach at the time, came up to me and said, it is our job to stop them. And he said some other colorful things to me, but it is our job to stop them. And it really hit me then, like, you get, when the score is that lopsided and you're frustrated because you're frustrated at yourself, you're frustrated at the situation and whatnot. You're not really frustrated with the opponent or the opposing team, and then in that situation. So, as I've gotten older in this profession too, it's just not, it's when you look at it like today, no one says, well, it's 69-0, Melissa. They're 1-0 in district. All you think about is you just 1-0 in district play. So,
Well, I'm going to keep reminding you of that 75 points. See what happens.
yeah.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the UIL puts all teams in a district for 2 years, and then it changes. This is the second year of this district cycle. So you've played Frisco Memorial twice and once previous, but these last 2 years. The combined score last year and this year between Melissa and Frisco Memorial.
Oh, man, I was a science teacher. 66 and 69. What is that? It's a lot.
Yeah, 135.
135.
To 6.
To 6.
Yes.
Yep.
Lots of stats we could go over. And the score, as lopsided as 69-0 is, that's how lopsided the stat sheet was.
Right.
Total yards, Melissa 601. Memorial 78.
You look at that, and it is very impressive, but there is so much things that we can get better at. When you understand that each game, there's a learning moment within each game, and losing that second game, we lost an opportunity to
having it canceled. You didn't lose the game.
Right.
It canceled.
Right.
Yes.
We lost opportunities to get better at certain facets of the game. So within that game, and you look at the stats, and you look at all these great things, and the kiddos did a great job, and the coaches did a great job of game planning. There's still things that have to get cleaned up for us to have success in November and December. So I am so excited that we came out with a victory, and kids got some really good stats, but Brother Graham, there's a lot of things we need to clean up as well.
Total yards, as I said, 601 to 78. Passing yards, 336 to 53. Rushing yards, 265 to 25. Yards per carry, 8 yards per carry for the Cardinals, 1 yard per carry for the Warriors.
What an unbelievable job Coach Spann has done. What an unbelievable job that defensive coaching staff has done, but what an unbelievable job that those defensive kids have done. So, that's an unbelievable stat you just threw out there.
1.19 yards per carry.
Just because of the fact of the week prior.
You can fall down for 1 yard.
The week prior to that, that team had 400 yards of offense. And it's just, like I said, it's just a testament to Coach Spann, those defensive coaches, and those defensive players for buying into the overall defensive scheme. But really, once again, doing such a great job of executing. But, again, there's a lot of things that we need to get better at to help us in November and December football, because a month from now, no one's going to care about Frisco Memorial.
Couple more individual stats. Bear Tabor, 141 yards and a touchdown, averaging 11.7 yards per carry. And the Kickers Association of the World is thrilled for me to announce Mateo Gentile, 6 for 6 on PATs and 2 field goals.
Yeah.
The Kickers Association is thrilled. He got 12 points. A great game.
Mateo, once again, he's one of those kids that moved in the summer. He actually moved in from Frisco Memorial.
Oh.
So he came in, and we're so blessed that he's a part of our football team. What really made me proud is, I hate talking about last year, but the one thing about last year was, I felt like special teams, we did a really poor job overall of coaching and executing, and that has been my major emphasis going into this year is to fix special teams. So I was very, very pleased with, Mateo's our main kickoff kicker as well, and just the field position piece is so critical within our game. And but Mateo's done a great job of we've had a few touchbacks, and when they do catch it, our kickoff coverage team has done an amazing job of getting downfield and making those tackles. So, and I tell the kids, I said we're not going to fear anybody. They had their last week Memorial had some very skilled players back there. We do when we break down over the weekend, when we break down their personnel. We break down. It's crazy, Brother Graham. We break down like what they like to eat at Taco Bell, but we break down their track times. We break down, all their offers and, height, weight, and blah blah blah, and their splits and track and this that and another. So they had some really talented kids that could really go back there, and like I tell the boys, we're scared of nobody. We're going to kick it right to the kid where they say, analytically, they say, don't kick it to that kid. We're going to kick it to that kid. And just we have this overwhelming sense, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. But, it's just a part of our world. And, in the past, I've always kind of tried to make Melissa kind of the hero of the comic book. And, being here for so long, one thing Coach Stinton told me a long time ago was everyone dislikes Melissa. Everyone wants to beat you. Everyone's going to play their best game against you. So into this, when we started this year, I was like, guys, we're going to embrace being the villain. And what would a villain do? Would a villain kick it to the kid we're supposed to kick it to? No, the villain would kick it to the guy that we're not supposed to kick it to. And we're going to go down there and make a play. It's kind of a strategy to, there's no fear mentality. We are that good that we're going to kick it to the kid that could potentially take it to the house on another team, not on our team. We're going to tackle him inside the 30 on our team. So, but yeah, that is something that I kind of went on a vent there. But Mateo Gentile has been such a blessing to be here, and that field goal was big for him, and it was a big for our program too. I remember just we've had kickers in the past that have been so amazing. But clutch is the biggest thing for being a kicker. And if Mateo was in here, and Mateo might weigh 150 pounds, he looks like a kicker, But
You know what we say on the broadcast, right?
Mm-mm.
Kickers are people too.
Kickers are people too.
Yeah.
He looks like a kicker, but you wouldn't think just the way his personality is, his overall demeanor, you would think he was an all-state linebacker.
In his mind.
In his mind, yes.
Exactly right. One of your goals, I know, was to get a lot of players in the game, evidenced by 3 quarterbacks, 3 kickers you used. So how did you balance, my starters haven't had a lot of reps, blowout victory, want to get a lot of guys in the game? What was the decision?
So going into the game, actually going into the Frisco game, not the Memorial game, we had decided, Coach...
The canceled Frisco game.
We had decided that... Coach Pickup was a player at Allen, and what they used to do in Allen during pre-district was their backup quarterback would get the 3rd series of the first half and the 3rd series of the second half. So that's kind of what we had decided to do going into the Frisco game. Into the Memorial game, I was like, guys, we can't do that. But if it starts to go our way, then I do want to see Drew Chapo in there with the ones. So we started making that rotation, I believe, early in the second quarter with Drew. Um, and the reason being was just so he could get some game reps with the quote unquote ones. That's when that conversation had about Drew. When we got into halftime, and I say that, I mean, I'm just going to be honest. We were having this conversation last weekend just because the fact that we thought that the game could potentially go in the direction that it went. And I don't like to wholesale. We're just going to go straight twos or straight through. We're not going to do that. I like to kind of sprinkle things in. And once again, we had decided that because we had got that game canceled, that I had to play people. I just had to do it. So we went into that game about the mid of the second quarter. I said, okay, guys, plan in place. We had made a plan. Middle of the second quarter, I said, okay, let's start really putting this into place. And it's hard to notice, but it's about one kid at a time. So and then when we got into the fourth quarter, we started wholesaling it. They were running the clock and things like that. And I'm not going to tell my backup quarterbacks to not run the offense and not to do what they're supposed to do. I don't like, if we're playing with tempo and that's who we are, that's who we need to be all the time. Yeah, a lot of people got to play and got to experience it because at the end of the day, we do have young kids that need to play, but we do have older kids that are role players that need to get in there as well and get that experience because you never know. Hopefully, it never happens, but you never know when their number is called because of a kid with an injury or whatever the case may be, and they have to perform and execute.
In just a moment, the Cardinal fans will get to meet our players of the game from Frisco Memorial Contest. First, they'll get to meet linebacker Landon Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a guy who scored 2 touchdowns on punt game.
Yeah. Landon Jones I'm from East Texas, so Landon is actually originally from Louisiana, but then moved to Marshall. I can't remember, maybe in elementary school, and then we got him this year. His mom got a job in Dallas, and they made the move to Melissa. First off, it is so awesome to be here because we get to meet all kinds of different people all the time. And I think it's really good for the kids to understand, when you get to meet somebody, and you get to understand where they came from and understand just people in general, like how to get to really know someone. My first impression of him, and he did a great job of communicating it the other day in our team meeting a couple weeks ago, was, no one wants to move, and he moved, and he's like, I didn't want to move. And I told my mom, I'm not playing football. I don't want to move. I don't want to be here. He said thank you to the team because they made him feel so welcomed. And it was overwhelming that he was so appreciative of the team welcoming him. Now, if you want me to potentially describe him as a player, he is the closest thing to like a Derek Thomas, Lawrence Taylor.
Oh, Coach.
Oh my gosh.
Lawrence Taylor.
I know it. As a high school player, I mean, he is so intense. People don't see the intensity that he brings in what's in his eyes before we go out there and play. Like, he is the most locked in, focused. I have a job to do, and I will do it to the best of my ability. But also, he has that. You remember those old films of Dick Butkus, and he's just looking. I mean,
The Mike Singletary eyes.
Oh yeah, and I played quarterback for the Frisco week because they did some wing T things, and so I'm the wing T quarterback, and you're the scout team guy, and and you look up and you're just looking at this face of just pure, you could just tell intensity that you better not boot out because I'm going to run you over. So, but the best thing is you saw him out in the hall. What a great smile. Unbelievable smile, unbelievable personality. But the one thing that I really appreciate about him is just his overall commitment and his overall um, kind of buy-in to the team and our culture. So he has been a huge success here, and he will. I tell every kid, right when you walk in the door, you're a Melissa Cardinal, and he's a Melissa Cardinal. We're excited he's here.
Well, you'll get to meet him and see his highlights in just a moment. And then you will get to meet quarterback Brett Holloway, another new player on the team, accounted for 6 total touchdowns on Friday.
Yeah, Brett is like if you could, make a poster child or like a robot of what you're looking for in a teammate, it would be Brett Holloway. We were having our staff meetings yesterday, and we were talking about things and whatnot. And I said, guys, you look at the stats and you look at the yards per possession, and you look for the yards per carry. That's great, guys. All that stuff is awesome. The best thing that happened Friday night was Brett Holloway was totally engaged in the offense, the defense, and special teams. He was over there slapping people on the butt, giving high fives, telling great job throughout the entire game. That is why we had success. We had success because the leader of our football team was being the leader of our football team. So that is, like I said, I couldn't be more blessed and more honored that he is the leader of our football team and our football program. He is, we tell these sub-varsity quarterbacks, if you want to emulate somebody, don't emulate the Tom Brady's or whatever. You see it every day. You see how you should practice, how you should act, how you should speak to teammates, how you should talk to the program. You see it every day. If you want to emulate somebody, emulate Brett Holloway. Because I'm telling you right now, Brother Graham, I know I played quarterback, but I would be like, that guy's the quarterback. I'll play for that guy. Because, he unbelievable teammate, unbelievable leader, just has so much moxie and grit to him as well. I was making a statement the other day, it was probably in fall camp, just about how he, as a football fan, as a football coach, you want your quarterback to slide or get out of bounds. But as a football fan, you want to see your quarterback run through people. And he's that guy. He's that. Now, Friday night, we told him to get it out.
When it's 69-0.
Yeah, but besides that, he's that. You do that for the team. You don't do that for yourself. You do it for the team. So we're so blessed to have him and honored that he's the leader of our football program.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, with all of that intro, we'll get to introduce you to Landon Jones and Brett Holloway and show you their highlights, and then we'll come back and talk more with Coach Matt Nally right after that. Welcome back to the Cardinal Scoreboard Show. We get to introduce you to our players of the game for the big victory over Frisco Memorial. In a moment, you'll meet our offensive player of the game, but first you get to meet our defensive player of the game, senior linebacker Landon Jones, number 40. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Glad you are here.
Yes, sir.
Punt block, bounced up right to you.
Yes, sir.
Easiest touchdown of your life, probably.
Yes, sir.
Then later on, there was another punt.
Yes, sir.
I think it went over the punter's head.
Yep.
You picked it up.
Yes,
Another
sir.
walk-in touchdown.
Yep.
So congratulations on being the defensive player of the game.
Appreciate it.
We're going to talk about your life in a minute, but let's talk about the game for a second. Were those the 2 easiest touchdowns ever?
Yes, sir. Actually, that's my first defensive touchdowns since I've been a linebacker. So.
Really?
Yes,
How many
sir.
years is that?
But just 2 so far.
2 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 years.
And you get 2 in one game.
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell us about the play. Tell us about the punt block first.
The punt block early on in the week, we felt like me or Slim should get a block off of that side.
You have to use real names on.
Oh, my fault. Peyton Porter.
Okay.
My fault. Peyton Porter. And yeah, so we knew one of us was gonna make a play. So it happened. I made the play on the first one, and then Slim, he gave me the second one because he could have easily went for the
Right.
ball, but
Right. That was
all.
almost in slow motion.
Yes,
there
sir.
At the second one.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Slim was a great guy. Because the second one he could have easily just went in for the touchdown, but he chose to hit the guy for me and let me get it.
Well, you had a good game the rest of the time on defense as well.
Yes, sir.
First year in Melissa.
Yes, sir.
Did you just move here?
Yes, sir.
From where?
Marshall, Texas.
Marshall, okay. And did you spend a lot of time there, or were you other places?
I was born in Louisiana,
Okay.
but I only been in Marshall for like, I say since 8th grade. Yeah.
Okay. Played the Mavericks, right?
Yes,
you
sir.
played for them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what led your family to move here?
My mom, she was like, she's tired. She's tired of being in Marshall. She's trying to look for a better job, and so found a good job down here. So
Good. And how do you like Melissa?
it's great. Everybody's been welcoming since I got here.
Good.
Yeah.
And favorite class in school?
I say right now math.
Okay.
I'm liking it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, financial math.
Good. And what do you want to do after high school?
After high school, I want to go to college. Hopefully, I really want to play college football. And after that, I don't know. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
I don't know.
Have you been talking to teams and colleges?
Yes, sir. I got 2 offers from UTEP and Arkansas State right now.
Very good.
Yes, sir. And hopefully after this season, get a little more.
Very good. Those recruiters, they come around, Melissa.
Yes, sir. I've been seeing them. Yeah.
Do you go introduce yourself?
Always.
Very good.
You guys too.
Good job.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm sure I'm going to ask your compadre here in a minute, but being new to Melissa, you get all these kind of facilities like we have right behind us.
Sir.
Talk about the beauty of this place.
Yeah, it's great. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like y'all got everything an athlete needs here, and Nally makes sure that all the athletes are good. Like before games, like with the IVs and stuff. Like never heard of players getting IVs before a game, and I'm just appreciative of the resources y'all got here for us. Well,
you're a Melissa Cardinal now too.
Yes, sir.
Final question: what has Coach Spann taught you about defense?
Man, like I seen a big difference from the first, like when we played the first game, of my production, like how it's more easier now off of the scheme that he has going for us. Because at first, I'm gonna be honest, I was a rockhead. I wasn't going with it, but I trusted into it, and
a rockhead.
Yeah, rockhead.
Okay.
And I feel like he's made me a better linebacker. Just off of this one, off season we had.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Landon Jones, your defensive player of the game for the big victory over Frisco Memorial. We're going to show you some of his highlights, including those 2 touchdowns, and then we'll come back and talk with our offensive player of the game, quarterback Brett Holloway, right after this. Max Corbin is back deep to return the punt for the Cardinals. And we'll see if Turner gets this kick away. Man in motion. Good snap. And the punt is blocked for the Cardinals. Picked up by Landon Jones, who's going to walk it in for a punt block touchdown, Cardinals.
What a job, Landon. So it's not often you block the punt and you're able to scoop it up yourself. Just a great bounce back, and then nobody between him and the end zone. Easy touchdown, and just had a fumble on special teams. Then you come back and get a special teams touchdown. So their special teams are even tonight in the plus category, but just a great block there and pressure by Landon Jones. It is quite a populated county.
Well,
but there were days, wasn't it?
When we had to leave for Friday night games on Thursday, that snap was over the head of the punter. That ball's going to be picked up.
Here.
And guess what? Guess who? Landon Jones with another special teams touchdown.
Ooh, I thought there for a second we were going to have a Leon Lett moment there, though. He wasn't quite hustling into the end zone with the ball sticking out.
So he scored on a punt block, and this was a fumbled punt. And he picks it up, does Mr. Jones, and scores easily, and now it's 27-0. Welcome back to the Cardinal Scoreboard Show. A moment ago, you got to meet Landon Jones, our linebacker, who was the defensive player of the game for the Frisco Memorial Contest. Now you get to meet senior quarterback Brett Holloway, wears jersey number 3. Congratulations for being our offensive player of the game.
Thank you.
Put that mic a little bit closer to your mouth so we can hear from you. You finished 9 of 10 passing, so not a lot of throws.
No.
However, 290 yards and 5 touchdowns. and also 41 yards on the ground, including a rushing touchdown. So, is that true that that was your second ever game playing quarterback on the varsity level?
Yes, sir.
You played one at the beginning against Don Bosco, canceled in week 2, played in week 3, and accounted for 6 touchdowns.
Yes, sir. That was my second ever varsity game.
Well, congratulations on being our offensive player of the game.
Thank you.
What was the game plan going into Memorial?
The game plan was just to execute, just run our offense, and everything will take care of itself.
All right, that's really simplistic and sounds like a coach talk right there, okay?
Yeah.
So did you want to run the ball more, throw the ball more? What did you expect that would be best against them?
I mean, we just knew going in that we could run the ball or throw the ball. It was really just about execution, just how we did either one of them.
Okay. And I didn't ask Landon this. I'll ask you this. Blowout games like that.
Yeah.
Are they fun? Would you rather play the really close contests, or what's your feel on that?
Yeah, I mean, I like close games. I mean, a win's a win at the end of the day. So, I mean, close games are a lot more enjoyable for sure. But, yeah.
Okay. And you're new to Melissa also, right?
Yes, sir.
Last year you were at Allen High School?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct? Okay. And before that? Or did you go to Allen for a number of years?
I was at Allen the last 3 years.
Okay.
And I've just been kind of all over the U.S.
Okay.
just throughout my life.
Okay. And what brought you to Melissa?
Just opportunity. And, I mean, the facilities here are gorgeous. So,
Good. And like Landon, you're new to the team, so what's it like coming in as the new guy?
I would say people here welcomed us a lot. I mean, it's definitely a very, very warm vibe coming to this team, and it was pretty easy to transition.
Okay. And you've played other positions in previous years, right?
Yes, sir.
Receiver?
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
I mean, I played just about every position: kick returner, punt returner, running back, quarterback, receiver. I played just about everything, even on defense too.
Okay. So what made you settle on quarterback?
Just because I feel like I'm a natural leader. I feel like I just have a leadership role, and I feel like a quarterback can best exemplify that.
Okay. Coach Hamilton, Coach Nally, what have they taught you?
They just taught me just execute, just run the offense, and everything will work itself out.
A quarterback's best friend are the receivers.
Yes.
So their job is to make you look good, right?
Yep.
So talk about your receivers.
You know, I got a bunch of really good receivers in Jacob Swain, Dalton DeBabine, and Omatayo Capo, Chris Davis. I mean, we have a lot of good receivers this year, and they'll definitely make some good catches this year going on.
Good. Favorite class in school?
Probably have to say my history class,
Okay. Which history is that?
government.
Government class, okay. Why do you like it?
Just I like learning about history.
Okay.
Just like learning more about the U.S. and all the fine details.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
So you can vote now.
Yes.
So you need to learn your stuff so you know who to
Yeah.
vote for. All right, good. What do you want to do after Melissa High School?
Hopefully, I hope I play college football and eventually go into the pros. But if that doesn't work out, I would love to be a coach.
Good. Are you talking to schools as well?
Not right now. I mean, I've talked to North Texas a little bit,
Okay.
but other than that, that's about it.
Okay. More to come, you hope.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, congratulations on being our offensive player of the game.
Thank you.
Quarterback Brett Holloway accounted for 6 touchdowns and over 300 yards total offense against Frisco Memorial. You've gotten to meet our players of the game. Now you'll get to see some of the highlights from Brett Holloway, and then we'll come back and talk more with Coach Matt Nally right after this.
Bear did kind of deliver the contact, but just lost the ball.
He stands next to Holloway, first down. Give it to the sophomore. Fake it to him, that is, and the quarterback will walk in. So that was a good touchdown drive for the Cardinals. That puts them up 13-0 here as the clock stops. 6:19 to go, first quarter. All right, first down and 10. Cardinals from their own 37-yard line.
Bert Gilliam.
That's true. with my dad at the same time. That's a pass out into the flash to Jacob Swain. He's got a track meet now. 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown Cardinals, and no flags on the play. That was a 63-yard touchdown pass from Holloway to Swain.
Jacob was real physical on that play, ran through a couple of tackles, and that's really a stat builder for your quarterback. You just
quarterbacks love it when you throw it 4 yards and you get a 63-yard touchdown pass. Now they are second down and 9. Holloway throws a 7 route. It's going to be caught, and a nice move, and it's going to be first and goal as they drag it across the goal line.
DK Woodruff.
Effort there by DK Woodard, and he should have been tackled at the 5, and he drug the defenders into the end zone. Touchdown, Cardinals.
Just a good physical run, just would not give up. Got the ball stretched across the pylon for the touchdown.
It's going to be first and 10, and they're going to throw it to a wide open receiver down the right sideline. It's going to drop in the bucket. Touchdown, Cardinals. Touchdown, Jacob Swain, his second touchdown catch of the night.
I know the season's young, Trey, but that is the best pass that I've seen Brett throw this season. We have official not wearing his hat, so looks like it's going to still remain a touchdown. Okay, I was hoping that nobody went out of bounds on that play. But that was a beautiful pass, just right in stride, hit Jacob right in stride, the speedy receiver, and he's having quite a night as well tonight.
Second down and 2. Throw it in the middle of the field for Dababneh. He makes the catch at the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Cardinals. Touchdown, Cardinals. 62 yards.
Senior connection there, Holloway to Dababneh. That was another great pass. Just Dalton caught it in stride. So that's 2 back-to-back great passes by Brett Holloway, playing in his second game as a quarterback.
And we said it, ladies and gentlemen, the Cardinals might just do it in the second quarter, and they've done it. Quoting our friend Barry Switzer, hang half 100. It is 55-0. Welcome back to the Melissa Cardinals Network. This is Trey Graham, and he is Cardinals head football coach Matt Nally. You just got to meet Landon Jones and Brett Holloway, and Landon said those were probably the 2 easiest touchdowns of his whole life.
Bet you they were, yes, sir.
So,
I bet you they were.
And we had a great interview with both of those guys. Nice young men. We're going to talk about this coming game against Frisco Liberty in a moment, but first, let's talk district.
Mm-hmm.
District 4, 5A Division 2. District 4 is what you're assigned to this cycle. For the audience, make sure you understand there's 9 teams in the district, so you play 8 district games. You're only allowed to play 10 regular season games. That's why you have 2 non-district games, which were supposed to be Don Bosco and Frisco High School. Then you play 8 district games, and this was district game number 1.
Correct.
There's 8 teams playing every Friday in 4 games. Somebody has a bye week every week. Anna's bye week was this past Friday.
Mm-hmm.
All of that to set this up. 4 teams lost on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
4 teams won.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 teams that lost were from Frisco ISD.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa over Frisco Memorial, 69-0. Prosper Walnut Grove over Frisco Emerson, 49-0. Lovejoy over Frisco Liberty, 63-19. Denison over Frisco Independence, 69-16.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the winners were from the one high school towns, and the losers were from the multi-high school towns.
Mm-hmm.
Is that simply a unimportant issue, or is that a trend? Does that say something to you? What do we learn from that?
The way that I have to answer that question is I'm glad Melissa's a one high school town. You do have Frisco Lone Star, who's extremely talented in football. I think that Frisco Liberty is really good at girls basketball and things like that. But I think there's something to it, to being a one high school town, and I understand why people do it. But like I said, I'm glad Melissa's only a one high school town.
And we've talked about this a lot on the air, especially during the game broadcast, that Melissa made a decision like 20 years ago, before all of this happened,
Right.
that Melissa was going to be a one high school town. And they chose Allen as the model.
Mm-hmm.
Frisco ISD chose to be a multi-high school town. Anna will be a multi-high school town. Salina will be a multi-high school town. McKinney is a multi-high school town. Prosper is a multi-high school town. And the decision, especially for Frisco, that they've got 11 or 12 teams playing football. They want 11 people to be valedictorian and 11 people to be drum major and 11 people to be the shortstop. And that's a philosophy they chose. Melissa, for a lot of reasons. One, for just land size. Frisco and McKinney, by geography, are very much bigger than Melissa is geographically. But it's also an emotional or a community spirit thing.
Correct.
And I'll even go further than that. Right behind us is the brand new East Cardinal Middle School.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one and only middle school this year. There's going to be another middle school coming next year for Melissa ISD. And both schools will be the Cardinals.
Right.
So everybody's Cardinals here.
Correct.
So it's a philosophy. It's a goal, I guess you would call it. And you're saying that you're happy that that's the situation you're in.
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing that I do love about going all the way down to our youth sports, everybody's a Cardinal. We've been here for 11 years, and all my sons were Cardinals. No one was ever a Hurricane or a Bobcat. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was a Cardinal in every single sport that they played. The one thing that I do love about a one high school environment is, I think it teaches you more about life. I went to an extremely small high school, and I think going to a bigger high school, it teaches you more about life in the regard of, you meet, this is wild what I'm about to say, but you meet new people every day. You have to communicate. That's real life. You have to communicate with people that you're not comfortable with. And not just that, I have 3 sons that are involved within different extracurriculars within the school. You have to compete. It can't just be, well, we only have 25 kids, so you get to be in a spot, and or it's baseball season. There's only 11 kids that come out. You're going to have an opportunity to be on the team. Well, that's not real life. Real life is about competing and earning a spot, not just, hey, I'm here, give me a spot. You know what I'm saying? So I like that piece of it, because I think it teaches you about life, and there's life lessons. Like, there's situations within life, within my own family. My oldest son wasn't the greatest football player ever. Well, that's life. That's a life lesson. How do you overcome that within your own life? You know what I mean? And my middle son wants to be the next Wes Welker. Well, okay, buddy. Well, you're at Melissa, where there's a lot of great players. How are you going to make yourself more elite than them to play? Like, you have to put yourself in a situation where you earn a position. And once again, I think that's real life. And so I'm glad that we chose that model. As a parent in that regard, as a coach, I'm glad you do it, just because of the fact of there's a lot of schools that when you're in a multi-school model where the athletes get diluted. And, they're zoning, and then they're rezoning, and then they're rezoning, and then they're rezoning. We were at Frisco Liberty last year, standing on the field for a freshman football game, and the coach said, I'm not kidding, Brother Graham, we're standing, and it might have been where Coach Dill's office is. He said, you see those apartments right there? I said, yes, sir. He goes, they go to Emerson. And you're like, you got to be kidding me.
And that's right down the hall, in
Yeah.
case you don't know what he means.
And it's like, to me, it goes with that school spirit piece. Like, well, I live right next to Liberty, but I go to Emerson, so.
Because that line goes down to some street somewhere.
I guess, yeah, I just couldn't believe it. It was that close. Like, I could have picked up a football and not had to chunk it far, and I would have hit Emerson School District standing in Liberty's football field. So, but once again, that goes back to those people 20 years ago. I don't know if that's a city thing or a school district thing or whatever, but they made the right decision.
It was a school board.
Was it? They made the right decision for Melissa ISD.
Let's look ahead to this Friday. Back here at home, right down here, Coach Kenny Deal Stadium, Estadio de Deal. Frisco Liberty comes to town, 7:30 kickoff. When we play here, it's a 7:30 kickoff. When we go at the Frisco schools, it's a 7 o'clock kickoff. They have a different time zone in Frisco. So 7:30 kickoff, 7 o'clock pregame show right down here. And last year, in the first game ever between Melissa and Frisco Liberty, it was played at Toyota, and the final score was?
I don't know. 56.
70
Ooh.
to 13.
Okay, yes, sir.
70 to 13. So, any thoughts about last year and any thoughts about this Friday?
I can tell you this. So every Friday you sit down and you watch your sub varsity play from the night before. So my son's on one of our JV teams, so I'm going to go and watch my son play. So you sit down and you watch all the subs from the Thursday game when you're sitting there getting ready for the Friday night game. And like sometimes they'll show you something different or whatever, and you got to make sure that you write that in your notes that potentially it never happens. But you're that guy
In
that's
case they ran
constantly-
me reverse in the
Yes,
JV
yes,
game,
absolutely.
you got to get ready.
Yes, so
Yeah.
you're sitting there, but like I said, it never happens. Like every coach does the exact same thing. Do not run whatever we're going to run on a Friday night on a Thursday night,
Yeah.
but then someone will run a reverse double pass, and you're like, I got to make sure we talk about that, and it's the same thing. Like, don't make our signals or our code words to the line anything like a Thursday or Friday night. You can't do it. So, but yada. So you watch it, and so going back to last year, I watched. My son was on the freshman team, and I watched that freshman team. And that freshman team from Liberty was not a bad team. We ended up winning the game. I can't remember the score from that freshman game, but then I watched the JV game, and dang, Liberty had a pretty good football team. And then you watch film from this year, and they've got some pretty good football players. I was very impressed with the freshman quarterback last year, and he was their starter the last two games. So I don't know if they're
On
gonna,
the varsity
on
level.
the varsity. I really was impressed with him as a freshman. Really looked the part as a big kid, threw the ball extremely well. And then they've had a few move-ins too that have helped them out skill-wise. So they have a good football team. They have a really good football team. The thing is right now is that the Melissa Cardinals are a really good football team. But it'll be a fun game. You know how it is, Brother Graham. It's homecoming. That's a nightmare for a coach. Picture day and homecoming. And then we have to modify Wednesday's practice for the homecoming parade. You have to modify what you do pregame, halftime because of the ceremonies, which, don't get me wrong, as a kid, I remember loving it. As a coach, you just hate it. But you want them to have a good experience. You want them to have fun. It's homecoming.
But you coaches can't stand when you get out of your routines.
100%. Like, my first question today was, so we're doing the ceremony at halftime. My first question to Coach Stinton today was, Seth, what are we doing about halftime? Are we extending it or whatever? And he was like, yeah. And you're just like, oh.
Because both bands still have to
Yep.
perform.
Yep.
So 28 minutes is not long enough.
Correct. And it's to the point where I would say most football coaches would say 15 minutes, and then 28 minutes, you're like, oh my gosh. But extending it, which once again, you want every kid to have that homecoming experience that they remember, and they feel very nostalgic about it later on in their life, and that this was my homecoming experience and whatever. And homecoming week, they're dressing up and all that stuff, and and the thing that's crazy is the last school I was at where I was the head football coach, I didn't get to pick homecoming. It was just picked for me. Whereas this year, or in Melissa, I get to pick it, you know. And so when you're going through it, you're like, well, I can't do Don, because I don't want to ever do a district game. I can't do Don Bosco. It's the first game of the year. Frisco, I got to do senior night. So you're like, oh my gosh, you got to pick district ball games to be the homecoming. You're just, yeah, Brother Graham, dreading it. But it'll be okay. It'll be fine.
Happy homecoming,
Yeah,
Coach.
yeah. But, you know, it's so fun, though, you know, because of you get to see former players. That's the best part about it, you know. And I've already had former players, I don't know what you call it. It's not a text if it's through social media, whatever that's called. And then texting me just, hey, man, I can't wait to see you on Friday night and blah, 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 and whatnot. So that, to me, is the best thing about it, is seeing former players. The worst thing about it is just everything else.
The chairman of the homecoming committee at Melissa High School, Matt Nally, invites you to join him and the homecoming court and everyone else this Friday, 7:30 kickoff, 7 o'clock pregame show right here on the Melissa Cardinals Network. Melissa is 1-1 on the season with a canceled game, 1-0 in the district play. The first of 8 district games this Friday, and here comes number 2 this week. Thank you for joining us. Thanks to Landon Jones and Brett Holloway for being our guests. Congratulations to them on being our players of the game. Remember, you and your family are invited to join me and my family in our church home on Sunday mornings at First Melissa, 9 a.m. or 10:15 a.m. Each Sunday morning, 2 worship services, 9 a.m., 10:15 a.m. Find out more at firstmelissa.com. Thank you for watching. We will see you on Friday. Have a wonderful week. Thanks to Coach Nally. Thank you. Go Cardinals. And we'll see you on Friday.